3 things that you cannot change. I don't care how much you want it to. I don't care how much you will it to. I don't care how much your ego goes, yes, you can. You can't. And it's so important because acceptance is such a key to your life. And people say, how do you accept? It is letting go of your ego. I mean, that is exactly what it is. It's letting go of your ego. And I understand it's not overnight, but do you understand it's not overnight? See, you've been carrying stuff for so long. Things aren't just going to disappear. So, I mean, you can watch my Ego Death series here on YouTube, and that's awesome. But you also have to understand that there's a lot that you haven't processed, which is why you're holding on to something external. See, when you haven't fully processed something, it's still going to control you, right? So there's tons of how many times have you thought, wow, I thought I really healed that wound of mine, but it's coming up again. Maybe it's not fully healed because it isn't, right? And sometimes that fully healed thing is maybe even never even achieved in this lifetime. Like it's well achieved, but it might not be perfect because life isn't perfect. So I wanted to jump into it because so much you are not giving yourself some self-compassion. And by releasing things that no longer serve you, it's not permissing something, it's getting your life back. And one of those things is the past and when you're going to die. We're going to put those 2 things together. Okay. Because there's 2, one's in the past, one's in the future. Right. And typically you don't know when that's going to be. I mean, sometimes you do, but for the most part, you don't know when that's going to be. And your past, you get so obsessed on. I'm not talking about other people's stuff because that's a whole other problem of why did this person do this and the past, like I'm talking about from your stuff. Okay. This isn't about the stuff that was done to you. This is about the stuff that you feel you've done to other people. And it could be the mistakes you've made, the hurt you've caused, or the way that other people perceived it as hurt. It could be a lot of things. And then you get up there and you're going, oh my God, I could have done this different. Oh my God, why didn't I do this? Okay, well, you know what? Why didn't you play the right lottery numbers from last night? Because you know them today. Why didn't you look and go, I should have played 1, 2, 3, 4 last night. Oops, why didn't I? Because you didn't have the knowledge. It's the same thing with your past. You didn't have the knowledge. And for many people like myself and most of you, you had to live in survival. There was a survival, flight, fight, freeze, fawn. And you had to survive that way. Like literally you had to survive. So some of the things, maybe you were manipulative, maybe you were, shady, sometimes those things are going to happen because you're surviving. Okay. You can't beat yourself up, self-loathe yourself, like drag yourself through the mud because of all of these things that are happening. No, because you can't change it. And I don't care if you want to try. I don't care if you want to keep saying that you do need to change it. You're not going to change the past. You don't have to accept it, but you're going to stay stuck. It is what it is. That's why those 5 journals are important. You got to process it. You got to be in a space to release, but you're not going to do it in your head. It's just not going to happen. Now, your expiration date, that's a little bit for all of us, right? We all we would all, for most people, not everybody, would kind of want to live forever, like healthily and with our people and regardless of faith or religion or anything else, you go, oh, well, I mean, that's what I believe in, but is that so? And, so there's a lot of uncertainty that comes up. And so you live your life so much for many people, especially with thanatophobia, which is like death anxiety, and I totally understand it, is that you get so wrapped up in the, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And in both of those places, you're not living now. You're literally existing. You're not living. You're existing and you're living in that fear. You've got to understand, and that's ego integrity. And I will do a whole video on that too. But ego integrity is accepting that regardless, I don't care who you are. I don't care what you do. I don't care how hard you try. You're not outrunning it. Okay. That is something you got to understand. Okay. Number 2, let's talk about the second thing that you can't control, and that's expectations. Yes, you can control the expectation piece of it, but you can't control the person that you're putting the expectations on. No, you cannot. You can want it. You can will it. You could be like, oh, I wish I had a better relationship with my sister. I wish I had a better relation. I wish. Wish. You can wish all day long. It's not going to provide you any peace whatsoever. It's going to create this sense of lack and scarcity. When you're saying, I wish I had, there's no I mean, we all wish we had like this and that, and it's fine to just fantasize about it from time to time. It's a fun little escape, but not when you're obsessing on it, going, well, I wish my life was different. I wish I had this. I wish I had more friends. I wish I had wish. It's not going to change. Things don't just like pop in your lap. You don't bing, and then there it is. And that's why you got to get clear that the expectations you set, yeah, you can control, but you can't control the person that you're putting these expectations on. And they do not have to live in a way that is going to make you comfortable. They really don't. That's a part you're going to have to really get like warm and fuzzy with. It isn't. And so when you're in that space, you have to remember that it isn't up to you to live their life for them, and it isn't up to them to live their life for you. And that includes adult children, that includes spouses, that includes siblings, that includes everybody. Your boss. You have to be able to protect your peace. So the expectations that everybody has to do it as you know, that you can control. But you could put expectations on that person all day long, and they may never live up to this expectation. And you have two choices there. You can either accept it or not. But if you're not going to accept it, it's only your stuff to process. You're not harming anyone. You not accepting that other people aren't you doesn't bother anybody. It bothers you, right? And you can't control other people, nor should you. Okay. So that's number two. And, let's kind of expand on that just a little bit, because it's the same thing if other people put the expectation on you, right? Like, you also can't control that piece of it, right? Is like, you can't control other people's expectations of you. You really can't. But you don't have to live up to them. Your little people pleasing fawn response here does not have to live up to that, because they're not good with themselves. Because anybody who's putting like severe expectations and like these hard drawn line expectations on people, they're not good inside. And you're not going to be able to kind of, change that scenario. And to do that, you're going to spiral. It's exhausting, right? It's literally exhausting. Okay. Number three, there are people in this world who are committed to never understanding you, ever. I don't care if God himself came down and said, here's this person's certification of being an amazing human. Person's going to be like, no. There are people who are committed that I don't care how much you change the world, how much you do. There are people who are just not going to vibe with you. They are not going to jam with what you are selling. They are just not doing it. And until you can accept that, you got to understand there will be people who just don't like you for the sake of not liking you. They don't really have a reason other than you're different, other than they don't understand something. Stop wasting time. And I snicker because I'm like, oh my God, the amount of time that you're wasting on this. You're worrying about things that you will never change. And I'm not saying for some people will be like, oh, okay, I see that. People with high emotional maturity and intellect, high emotional intelligence will go, I didn't really think I vibed with that person, but okay, I still don't necessarily vibe with them, but I really see their perspective. That is emotional intelligence. Those are not the people I'm talking about. I'm talking about the people who aren't with emotional intelligence, who aren't in emotional maturity, who are sitting there and they are just hell-bent determined on just not liking you and smearing you across the planet. Let them. Because if the people who don't know you and they're not seeking more information on you for their own self, they're not your people. So you're not going to be able to sit there and control other people. Now, that's also checking yourself. We're going to expand on that a little bit. Check yourself too. Are you sitting in this like hard judgment, like, I just don't like that person because I don't like them because they blah. Okay, that's fine. You don't have to vibe with everybody. I just told you not everybody likes people. That's fine. But are you doing it from a space of thinking that only you are right? You can still listen to someone and not agree with them and be like, okay, well, I mean, that's your perspective. We can agree to disagree, but I can respect the fact that you have something different that you believe in. That's an evaluation for your own emotional intelligence, because you got to ask yourself, why the hell does it bother you that somebody else believes different than you? I didn't say that what they believe is got to be right with what you align with. You got to check yourself on that, because that's that coming up in you, right? So when you're sitting in those spaces, those are three of many, because there's a lot of things on this planet that you are not in control of. The actual only thing that you're in control of is your response and your reaction. That's kind of it. because there's always going to be change. That is a guaranteed constant. I guess we could add that in, right? Change is inevitable. It always is going to happen. Resisting it isn't going to make it not happen. So that's just a little 3 that I want you to check yourself on and check other people on. It's not other, don't check other people, meaning be aware of how other people are expanding that onto you. And then don't judge them. You just say, hey, you just allow yourself to distance from that because it's something that they're going through in their life. But yeah, those are 3 things you're just not going to change.
One tip.